Students will be able to. Nothing. Students will be able to define slope given a graph and 2 points. So some algebra concepts crisscross really well into pre-algebra, what you've learned already in 8th grade or 7th grade. This is one of those concepts that's like, you're going to see it and be like, wait, we learned exactly this. It's going to be a pretty quick note session for that reason. Then you'll blast into bronze and we'll have a pretty large chunk of time to review for geometry readiness, which is a good thing. And we'll look at all sorts of, Stan, that's your first, all sorts of like slope stuff that they're going to be testing you for geo readiness on the actual exam. So you guys know this, the rate of change of a function is also called the slope of the function. Now that's nothing new for you. Board of paper. The slope can be found in a graph by taking the rise over the run. Again, nothing new, basic, you've already learned that. So when you're given a graph, here's your easiest way to find the slope. You're going to start at a point. You can choose any point that crosses a intersection really evenly. And if you go up 2, that's a rise of 2 over 1. You would say the rise over the run is 2 over 1. And for the most part, you guys remember that slope is usually a fraction, so you don't want to simplify that usually to a 2. Just leave it as 2 over 1 so you can see rise over run. D question. I know, this thing ruined me again, for the love of Pete. It's counting by 2s, so yeah, it's counting by 2s. Erase what I just put. So it is going over 2, or actually it's not going over 2. It's going to go up, my goodness. It's halfway. It's going up 3 over 1, you're right. Rise 3, okay, there's the slope, 3 over 1. B. Yeah. Yeah, Elliot, mark it. So B is going a different direction. Starts at -2, 3, and 1, 0. It's going to go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3. Down 3, over 3. We could simplify that to 1 over 1, or just 1. Go ahead.
You have Anakin?
I do.
Please stay for a minute.
So remember, you guys, when you were in 7th grade, you were taught by Mr. J, hopefully, that this little slope means that, it really means that a man is on a line. And we'll call him Bob. And whenever you see slope, you're going to think of this. Bob is walking on a line. And Bob is paralyzed. He can only walk left to right. He can't go right to left. And if he's going right to left or left to right, and he's going down, your slope is always going to be a negative slope. So automatically you see Bob is headed downhill, he's negative. If Bob is going uphill, well, that's always positive. Left to right, he is headed up. So this one stays as a positive. Okay, so whenever you guys get to college and you become some data scientists or go into engineering and they're just giving you some slope formulas and you're looking at slope on a graph and you draw this little man, you're going to raise your hand and say, Professor, that is actually Bob and he's headed uphill. It's a positive slope. You will be laughed at, but then everybody will remember it forever. And that is why I'm not a professor at Stanford, correct? But you're going to say it anyways when you get to Stanford. C. Find the rise of a horizontal line. What's the slope of a horizontal line? Let's draw a graph. So the horizontal line coordinate grid is going to be like this. Just draw a Mach 1. And if it's a horizontal line, let's put Bob on the line. There's your line. It's going through, let's say, 2. And if it's a horizontal line, Bob is going to chill here. Watch what happens. Bob can go left or right. He's chilling and he likes it, and that is called a slope of 0. There is no slope. It is not uphill or downhill. He can hang out. The slope is 0 when there's a horizontal line. Anytime you draw a horizontal line, the slope will always be 0. Silent yes if you remember that. Not at me like this is coming back to us. Okay, I'll review. Bob, sure. 7th grade pre-algebra wanted Bob to have a top hat, but we'll give Bob some spiky hair.
What?
There you go. It's like he's like an aborigine, you know, like the Indians who have the cool hair. That's not. I'm representing the Indian cultures and the tribes that we decimated as white Americans. Okay, D. Find the run of a vertical line. What's the slope of the vertical line? Draw your mock grid again. And you're going to draw the slope. This time it is vertical. When you have a vertical line and you put Bob on the line, Bob falls. And when Bob falls, you call that slope silent hand? It's undefined. So the slope for any vertical line is not 0. If Bob is falling and he can't stand on it, the slope's undefined. Okay, quick review. You guys know rise of a run, all that jazz. Example 2 is also review. You're going to give some problems, like you'll see on the geo readiness practice we do, have a formula, and they don't give you a graph. What is the formula for the slope of a line? We've done this once this year, I think. Formula for a slope is what? I want you to turn and talk to your partner, brainstorm, go.
Is the formula for slope?
What is it?
Y equals mx. Yeah, just that one.
It's not y equals mx plus b. That's slope intercept form. No. 3, 2, 1. So formula for the slope. If you're looking for just the slope, you're going to plug this in. The difference between your y values, y2 minus y1, over the difference of your x values. There's your formula. You guys all remember this. It is review. Okay, so let's do it. The slope of the points 2, 3, and -2, -1. You can choose any point coordinate pair to be your x1, y1. It doesn't just have to be this first one. For the most part, this is my kind of default, is I'll just use the first pair for x1, y1. X2, y2 will be the next pair. So let's plug it in. Your formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Deacon, what numbers go on the top?
3 and 1.
In what order?
1 minus 3.
-1 minus 3. And then the bottom, which ones?
Julie Morano, please call 130. Julie Morano, 130.
Okay, and -2 minus 2. Good. You're going to get -4 over -4. Can I simplify that anymore, Stan? 4 over 4, 1 over 1, or just 1. It's a positive because two negatives, when they're divided, turn into positive. 1 over 1 or just 1 would be your slope. When you have a table, you have a lot of different options to choose from it. So I have a x1, y1, or an x2, y2. You could also use the other 2 points. You can use the middle 2 points. It doesn't matter which ones you choose as long as you match them up and aren't using x1 for 3 and y1 for like 8 and mix and match. It's got to be the same point. Write it in. Julia, what's the answer on the top? And the bottom? What does the slope look like, Charles? When you have 0 on the bottom, what does that tell you, Stan? Yeah, whenever you have 0 on the bottom, this is what it's going to look like in a calculator. 2 divided by 0, it'll say error or undefined or not a number. That's telling you that this line is actually just a vertical line. If you have x that's all the same numbers as well, you can look at that and automatically just say that line's vertical. If you make your line and you go over 3, up 3, over 3 up to over 3, or be over 3 up to, go back, over 3 up to, over 3 up 3, over 3 up 6, over 3 up 8. That makes a vertical line for you. So you can just look at the table and automatically know this thing is undefined. Slope equals undefined. Last example. Graph shows the relationship between a person's age and his or her estimated max heart rate. They give you a real world scenario, but they still just give us 2 points. Because this one is such large numbers, even though they give you a graph, it might be a little hard to accurately do a rise over a run calculation. So if there's numbers in the hundreds, I would just use your x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug it into the formula. I don't know. Try it. Let me know if it's the same. It probably will be, yeah. Plug it into the formula. Kaylee, what numbers go on top? Good. Good. Yeah, that would work, Indy. 50 minus 20, okay. 150 minus 180 is what, Ava F? Good. And 50 minus 20 is what? Good. Can I simplify that, Elia? Yeah, -1's your slope. Or -1/1 for the slope. And you can know it's negative because little man is headed downhill. Next page. Awesome. Did you do 9 o'clock yesterday?